I guess today now we'll create a program on ALV reports and we'll use field catalog to customize the ALV report output. In our previous session, we created the ALV report with the help of structure. We did not customize any ALV output. We just displayed whatever the fields available in that structure as it is. And we did not change the order of the columns and we did not change the report headings, right? We did not hide few columns. We displayed as it is, how it is available in the structure. So today we'll see how to customize the ALV report output. For this example, I'll use function modules. Okay, I'll use function modules to modularize the program, and I'll use for all entries concept. Okay, so that we can recap that concept. So here I will select some sales order data or purchase order data, and for this we need to create 4 function modules. So why we are creating these multiple function modules? So that you'll get good clarity on how to use importing exporting parameters of the function modules, depends on the requirement. Okay, we can simply use joins to complete this functionality with the help of only single function module, but my idea is like if you can use multiple function modules, you'll be having better clarity. Okay, how to pass the importing parameters and exporting parameters of the function modules, because these concepts are very same for class methods also. Executable program, save the program. So I'm assigning some package today. I'm going to use packages, and I'm going to generate the transport requests. I'm trying to find some custom packages. I'll use this Z001. Let's assume this is our package where our development should be assigned. Save it in the package. Now what it is asking? It is asking for a request,
Transport
transport
request.
request.
Transport request.
Why we need this transport request? To
To
move
transfer the
these
program from
program
development
changes
system
from
to
Data from
development
development to
system.
testing system.
and to production system. Okay, but with the help of transport request we can move the changes, and also we can compare the changes, right? We can compare different changes by using transport requests. We call that as version management. I'll show you that. Here it is automatically proposing one transport request which is already available in the system created by someone, but this is my new development. I want to create my own transport request. For this, create transport request, create. Here provide the description, some meaningful description. Okay, for example, this is a task 100. For example, I'll create like this SD. Let's assume this is related to sales and distribution model. SD task 100 sales order report. This is my functionality. Okay, every project will have their own naming standards for transport descriptions and everything. You need to check with your team like what is the naming standards we are following in this project, because here you can enter anything. Here it will allow any text, but you should maintain some meaningful text. Okay, save the transport request. Now you are using your own transport request and click on continue. Now your program is assigned to one transport request. Earlier We used local object, right? If we use local objects,
Yes, sir.
we cannot
Yes, yes.
generate the transport request. Those changes are local to same system. We cannot transport them. Okay? Clear? It is very important. Please observe carefully. Let me design a selection screen first. So always, I have told you many times, don't think about the complete program. Okay? When you need to create a program, don't worry about the complete program on 1,000 lines of code. First, start with your selection screen. Keep only that in mind. What are the inputs I need to provide for this program? Usually, these will be defined in the functional specification documents. Functional team will provide you what are the inputs they want to see in the selection screen. What are the inputs they want to filter the data? So first, concentrate on the selection screen and complete the selection screen first. Don't worry about rest of the things or business functionality or anything. Selection screen, begin of black B1 with frame, title, title text. I am providing some text, but I have not created it. I'll create it in the text symbols. Selection screen, end of block B1. This is how I create the programs. Okay, you may need to write 1,000 lines of code, but don't worry about it. First, concentrate on first task, that is your selection screen designing. Sales order data, right? I'll use some parameter. Customer or vendor in sales order data. What is the data available in sales order data? Customer data or vendor data? Purchase orders
Customer.
deals with vendors. Sales orders,
Yes, sir.
customer.
Customer.
We are selling.
Yes,
We are selling the product to customer, right? In purchase orders, we are buying. We are buying products from vendors, outside vendors, right? That's why we create the purchase orders to buy something. When we create sales order, to sell something,
to
right?
sell something. To sell.
Take any input. For now, I am taking Kunara as input. You can take any input.
KUNH.
Yeah. My selection screen is completed. Save the program. What is the next step? Screen is not completed yet. You need to maintain selection text. We need to activate it. It is not available here. First, we need to activate the program. Then your parameter will be available in selection text. For any object, whatever the object it is, that might be a form designing, enhancement, or anything. Don't worry too much about it. First starts with the basic functionality. You can easily complete the rest. Okay. Now, what is the next step? Go to text elements and maintain the selection text. Customer, activate the selection text. Taking time. Okay, activate it. Okay, go back to our program. Now test this functionality. Is it working properly or not? Test your selection screen. Activate the program and test your selection screen. Is it working or not? It is
Yes, ma'am,
working
it's
as
working.
expected. We have the selection screen. Now you can define selection screen like this also. KNA1, sorry, parameter hyphen KUNNR. I just changed the like instead of data element, I'm using table name hyphen field name. Which server is faster? I think this is taking time.
2022 better, sir.
Okay, we are using 2022 only. Sorry, KNA1. Okay, activate. So here you can see the F4 help to select the available values. Okay, here you can search for existing customers. So that option is available when you use table hyphen field name. Okay, if you use data element, the text option is not working. Let me check is there any value table or something available or not. Think better to change the server. It's taking time. Okay, data element is Kunar. I think in sales order table it is different, but in customer master data we have Kunar as a data element. We have value table. Yeah, KNA1. KNA1 is the value table.
Sir, use 2022. It is going to respond quickly, sir.
This one. Is also slow. Create the program again. Create. Type executable program. Save it. I'm using package. Check the existing package in the system. So I'm going to, am I using the same system?
Yes, Anna.
Then why it is allowed to create? Okay, I changed the name. What is system status? S4 2021, A4H 21. Okay, okay. This one we have to use. Save, and I'm going to assign a package. For that, I'll create a transport request, provide the description, ask 100, sales order report, save it, saving the program. And I'll just copy and paste this code. Okay, did I remove it? Okay, it won't take much time. Block B1 with frame. I'll worry about title later. Selection screen B1. Parameters P underscore activate it. Go to text elements. Maintain the selection text. Activate it. Next, my selection screen design is completed. Let me test it. And it is working with F4 help as well. Okay. Again, it is taking time to display the F4 help. Let me stop it and continue with our program. Change it. What is the next? Selection screen design is completed. Next, initialization. If you need to display any default values, maintain the value here. For example, P underscore Kunar equal to some customer ID. You can pass it here also. Default. You can also pass it here. But why we need to use initialization? When we need to pass some calculated value or the value from the database table. We need to use initialization. For example, I'm selecting single Kunar from KNA1 into P underscore Kunar up to one row. I'm not passing the where condition, right? I'm not passing the where condition. Yeah, we need to use select. Then we need to read it. See, when we don't know the exact condition, right? When we don't know the exact condition, what we need to do? We need to use up to one row. Select up to one rows. When we don't have exact primary key to pass it in the select single statement, the alternative is select up to one rows. Okay. When we need to select data from database table and make it as a default value, we can't do it here in the parameters, right? We cannot write select statement here, right? So at the time we use initialization event to select the data and display in the parameter as a default value. Okay. What is the next step after default values?
Validation.
Yes, validating the input. What is the event to validate the inputs?
At selection screen, the event.
Yes, selection screen.
At selection screen is the event for validation. But this is to validate all the inputs, right? It is common for all the input parameters. But if you
Yes.
want to validate individually, what we need to use at selection screen on parameter name P underscore Kunar. So it will highlight only that particular parameter when there is an error. Okay. If we have a function module, right? Is it available here? Do we have a function module to validate the customer?
Yes. Yes.
What is the function module name? What is the function module name? I think we have one for vendor. I'm not sure whether we have one for customer or not. Let me simply write select statement, select single Kunar from KNA1. Modularize this. Okay. Modularize this from KNA1 into where Kunar equal to P underscore. You have to modularize this statement. If sy hyphen sub rc is not equal to 0, then what we need to do? Raise the error message. Here, make it as a text symbol. Okay, make it as a text symbol. And this one, create it as a constant with uppercase. Later, modularize this. Validation is completed. What is the next step?
To write business logic.
Data selection, right? For that, what we'll do? We'll create function modules. Okay, to get the data. So what is our input here? What is the input for data selection?
Kunar.
Kunar, customer number is the input for us. Go to SC37 and create one function module. Underscore function group. Save it. Oh, this function group is not available. Let me find any existing function groups.
Jet demo sales.
Sales. Okay.
Yes.
Continue. What is the input for this header function module? Customer number, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Since this is the importing parameter, I'll follow some naming standards, naming conventions like this. IM underscore or IV underscore Kunar or customer, whatever you can take. What is the type? Kunar.
Kunar.
This is the input, right? What is the output? Header record of that customer. All the sales order records available for that customer, right? For one customer, there might be multiple sales orders, right? In the table.
Right? The table.
Yes.
Do we need work area like structure or internal table like structure to return the
Table
data?
like structure to return the data.
Internal table.
Internal table.
Since we are going to get multiple records for each customer, we need to have one internal table like structure, right? And do we need to select all the fields of the header records from VBAK or only selected fields? I don't want all the fields from VBAK. I want only selected fields.
So,
What we need to do now? We need to
We
create
have
a
to create a
structure.
structure.
Go to SC11, data type, Z for some ZSDS underscore header. Create it. Select structure. Structure for header data. I'll go to the table and copy fields and the corresponding data elements. VBELN. This is the data element. Yeah. And I'll have created date. And I'll take type. And I'll also add customer. Let me find it. Kunar. This one. You can take KUNAG or KUNNR. Both are fine. Okay. But in sales order data, right? How we represent the customer? In KNA1, customer is a customer. That's it. But when we are talking about sales orders, customers has many forms like sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, right? We call the customer with different names. Depends on the what he's doing. Like he's the buyer. He's the buyer, and we are shipping to a different customer. Then the other customer we call them as ship to party, right? what is the for which customer we are going to generate the billing? He is the bill to party, right? So terminology will be different when we talk about the customer in sales orders. Taking same data element, as long as data type and length is same, you can take different data element also. Now I have header level data. Now activate the structure. I'm going to assign to the same package. I'm going to assign it to the same package. Do we need to create a new transport request now for structure? It is asking for a transport request, right? For structure.
No.
Do we need to create a new transport request? No.
No.
Add all the developments related to this functionality, this object into the same transport request. Okay. Don't create separate transport request for each object. When the functionality is same, you have to add all your objects to the same transport request. Now I'm done with structure. Now what? Now I'm going to return multiple records, right? So structure is not suitable. If you are returning only a single record, I can use the structure. But I need to return multiple records, multiple sales order header records. For that, I am creating a table type with reference to the structure. Sorry. Sorry, I am creating structure. Table type, right? I have to select table type. Provide table type for header data. Activate the table type. Again, save your object, table type object in the same transport request. Now my table type is ready. Now go back to my function module, define exporting parameter. I'll take like this et underscore header type table type name, right? And I'll define an exception. Source code, go to the source code. If p underscore, sorry, not p, iv underscore customer is initial, or I'll take like this, customer is not initial, then proceed with the data selection. Select what are the fields we have taken, vbeln, comma,
EDAT.
comma, AU, AUAV.
AUART.
Only 3 fields or
Kunar.
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 Kunar also. Kunar from VBAK into table. So we are taking same fields in the same order, right? Whatever we defined in the structure. So you don't need to use separate internal table here. You can directly use exporting parameter as a internal table. Okay. Or select data into an internal table and populate the exporting parameter. Anything is fine. Kunar equal to iv underscore customer. Okay. if okay, anyway, sub RC check is useless here since we are directly populating the data to header data. For this, I'll use one else statement. If sub RC is initial, else means if sorry, not sub RC. If customer is initial, then rise exception. Okay. If customer is not initial, execute the select statement, else rise the exception. Clear? Pretty printer and activate the function module. Copy the function module. Call it in the program. How to call the function module? Go to pattern. Keep the cursor where you want to call the function module. If you know the function module name, enter here or search here using star. Now pass the input. What is our input here? P underscore Kunar. Make sure this P underscore Kunar type and this type, this IV customer type, both are same. Okay, don't use different types. You will get runtime errors. That is most common issue when we are using the function modules. If you take different type for customers and if you take different type for Kunar, so it will give you a runtime error, compatibility issues. Okay, and then an importing parameter, what we need to do, pass. We need to pass one internal table, right, to return the header level records. Et underscore
Yes,
header
sir.
is returning header level records. For that, we need one internal table. Define one internal table. What is the type you need to take? Don't worry. Go to the function module. Go to the function module. Check what is the type it is using. Use the same type. Copy it and paste here. If it is a table type, don't use type table of. Okay, since it is a table type. If you are using structure name, use type standard table of. Okay, since I am using table type, I am not using type standard table of. Okay, it is a internal table. Pass the internal table here. That's it. Enable the exceptions. Then when I need to proceed further for the next functionality, that is item level data. When
If sub RC equal to 0.
sub RC equal to 0, no errors. That is not the only criteria, right? If you pass the input, if you pass some inputs, it won't raise any exception because you are passing the input value. That doesn't mean that that input value has header records, right? For example, you entered customer number 100. Customer number 100 is there, but there is no sales orders for that customer number 100 in VBAK. Then it will be blank, right? Then header internal table is blank, right? If there is no sales order header records available for that particular customer number, it is blank, right? When the header record is blank, what is the item level data you need to select?
Yes, sir.
No data need to select, right?
Yes. Yes,
For
yes.
that reason, you need to check header level data also. If sub r is equal to 0, keep it that inside that, or you can add and is not initial. Okay, you can use like this. Then only execute the next functionality. If there is some record in header data, then only execute the next functionality. That's what you are saying, or you can keep it as a separate if statement. is not in shell, and if sub r is equal to 0, I'll add one else part here. Else means not equal to 0. Then raise a message. No input provided. For this, header is not in shell, else input is valid, but there is no data. For this, I'll use one more message no header data available. I'll take status message. Data, see, customer is valid, but there is no sales order records. That is not an error. Okay, that's not an error. Data is not available.
Yes.
There is no rule that every customer has to buy something, right? There might be 1,000 customers. For only 10-15 customers, you will be having sales orders,
Yes, sir.
right? Check which if statement and what is the else part. What is the if statement and what is the else part? Okay. Now we need to call the item level data, right? For that, we'll create one function module. Header level function module is completed. Item data. So what is the input for item level function module? What is the input for item
Header
level?
level data output is the input.
Yeah, header level data is the input. I'll take the same function group for this function module also. What is the input? Whatever the header data we are returning here, that is the input, right? So what is the type of that header data? I'll take like this. Since it is an importing parameter, I'll take it underscore header. And what is the type we need to take? Simple. Whatever the type you are using for
Internal
header internal table.
structure.
Do we need to pass a single header record or multiple header records? Here, how many header records we are
Multiple header
returning? We are
records.
returning multiple header records, right? Take type, table
Multiple.
type, same table type,
Yes.
same type, copy and paste here. This is my input. What is my output? Item level data, right? Item level data means like, do we need all the values of VBAP, all the fields of VBAP, or only selected fields of VBAP?
Required.
I want to
Only
only see
selected fields.
selected
Selected
fields of
fields.
VBAP. For that, I need to create one structure. For one header in VBLN, for one header sales order number, how many items we can find? More than one, right? One or more items for each sales order, right?
Right.
So then we are expecting multiple records. Then we need to use which one? Table type or structure?
Table.
Table type. First create the structure, item level data. I'll copy VBLN, POSNR, material number. These are required. Sorry, I'm pasting here. Here, the structure and the corresponding types. What else we need? I want price, quantity, right? I'll take NETWR and the corresponding currency. What is the type? NETWRAP. So I'm taking only these two. You can take more, okay, like quantity and everything. So what is the mandatory whenever we maintain currency and quantity fields?
Reference table.
Reference
Reference
field is mine.
currency and quantity fields has to be maintained. Okay, currency and quantity fields has to be maintained for this NETWR. Don't worry about it. Go to the VBAP table and go to currency and quantity fields. Take the same reference. We can take other tables reference also. There is some master tables for quantity, currency and quantity. Simple. Go to the reference field. WAERK, right? So you can find the master table for WAERK. That is a foreign key table. What is it? TCURR. You can take this one also. TCURR WAERS. You can take this also here as a reference instead of VBAP. Okay. TCURR also you can take. TCURR is the master table for currencies. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now activate your structure. I'm going to save in the same transport request. All the objects will go into the same transport request, but is because these are part of the same development. Now my structure is ready. Now let's create the table type for this item level data. Select data type, create the table type. Provide the structure name in the line type. So go to my function module. What is the output here? Item level data, right? ET underscore item. What is the type? Whatever the table type we created for the item data. Sorry, not the structure, but the table type. It use T. Okay, table type. If you want any exceptions, you can raise. I'm not using any exceptions for now. If IT underscore header is not initial, inside this I'll write the code. Anyway, header data is unique, right? Header data is unique, right? By VBLN number. So usually, what is the common field between VBAK and VBAP?
VBLN is the
VBLN
common.
only the common key. So do we have any duplicate records in header data? Since VBLN is the primary key, there is no chance of duplicate records,
Yes.
right? But still, we'll see how to follow for all entries rules. But in this case, you don't need to use delete adjacent at least. You need to sort. You just need to sort the internal table. But can you sort the importing parameter? Can you directly sort the importing parameter? Can you change the data in importing parameters?
No.
No, it won't allow you to change. For that reason, I'm taking one temporary internal table equal to it underscore header sort lt underscore header by VBLN. If you want, delete the duplicates, but here no chance of duplicates. lt underscore header by VBLN, but we have to follow comparing, sorry, not by. We have to follow these for all entries rules. Then what we need to do? Select. What are the fields we are selecting in item level structure?
VB.
I'll copy all this.
I'll copy all this.
If you click Control Y, if you press Control Y, you can see this plus symbol. Control Y, drag, you can copy all, and Control C. This is the shortcut to copy all the fields at once. I'll just add commas from VBAP into table. So here we are taking same fields in the same order, right? We can directly take the exporting parameter. Where, sorry, what is the next statement?
For all entries.
Yes. See how we are formatting the select statements and other syntax also very important in the projects. Okay, even it is working properly. If it is not in a proper formatting, they'll reject in the code review. Okay, so don't write like this, right? It's not looking good, right? So always format your code in a proper way. Readability also very important. When someone look at your code, they should be able to understand your code very easily. Okay, for all entries in which one?
Header
lt
data.
underscore
IT.
header. In this case, you can take direct importing parameter also,
This case
since
you can
there is no duplicate records. But we are sorting here. Yeah, again, where VBLN equal to
VBLN.
lt underscore header hyphen VBLN. That is the common field, right? Sorry, this is not the
Internal
table,
table.
right?
ET item.
T item. Now I got the item level data. Activate the item level data function module. Call your function module. Go to your program. Did I closed it? SC38. Change the program. Now where you need to call your function module? Here. If subr is equal to 0 and header is not initial, here you need to call your function module. Pretty printer, enter your function module name. Now what is the input for this function module? Your header data internal table. What is the output? For output you need to define one internal table. Define the internal table lt underscore item type. What is the table type? Yeah, this one. Pass this item data here. Now we got the item level data, right? Next, if lt underscore item is not initial, what you need to call here? Call material text fm. Okay, what is the input for this material text fm? This one. Item data is the input for material text fm. What is the output? Material text structure,
Material text
not structure
structure.
but table type. Clear? But I'm not calling it. These two tables are enough for now. Now what is the next step? We need to merge, right? We need to merge header data and item data, need to display as a output. How to merge? For merging we need one structure.
Final enter.
If you want to use a function module to merge it, we need a structure. If you don't want to use a function module, this structure is not required. You just define one type structure. Create structure. What I'll do, I'll just copy and paste all the fields available in our structures. First header structure. Sorry, I mean looks like it is a different server. First go to header structure, copy all of these, Control Y. Okay, if you click on Control Y, it will display this plus symbol, and drag Control C, Control V, and then go to item level data, Control Y. VBLN is already there, right? I don't need it again. I'm not using that in the final structure 2 times. Final output structure, enter. I think this should be automatically populated types. Yeah, activate the structure. Sorry, we have currency and quantity fields, right? We need to maintain the reference. What is it? VBAP works. Activate this, keep it in the same transport request. Now my structure is ready. We'll be having multiple records, right? Not only a single record. For that I need a table type. Create a table type. Okay, activate it. This will go into the same transport request. Now my final structure is also ready. Now go back to your program. Sorry, go back to your function module. C37, create a function module for final output. I'm using same function group. Save it, continue. Now what are the inputs for this final data function module?
Two internal table.
Header data and
Item level.
item level data. IT underscore header what is our type? Table type, whatever you defined for header, not item. And item data, whatever the table type you created for the item. These two are the inputs. If you have more material text and more tables, add one by one here as inputs. Now, what is the output? Et underscore final type. What is the output?
Final table type.
Final table type. Okay. Go to source code. Now what we need to do? We need to merge two internal tables into one single internal table. Which one we need to loop? Header data or item data?
Item
We need to
data.
loop item
Item
data.
data.
Loop at IT underscore item into not
Data.
data of some structures, work area, header,
Item.
move corresponding. Sorry, let's define one work area for final structure. Data ls underscore final type. What is the type you have to take? This structure, final structure. This is table type, but take final structure. S underscore final. Move corresponding. ls underscore final. Then read table it underscore item into sorry, not
Data.
item,
Not item. Header.
header into define one in, work area using inline
Work
declaration
area using inline declaration.
with key
VBLN.
equal to ls header
LS header.
VBLN. Okay. If sy hyphen sub rc equal to 0. So we have an advanced ABAP syntax here. Alternative for read statement, we can use value. I'll show you that value syntax in the next class. Today I don't want to confuse you. What is the error? ls final to et final. Okay, we don't need to have a separate internal table. Consider it as an internal table and clear all the work areas. ls final and what are the other work areas? ls header and
Header.
ls item.
LS item.
In few special cases, we don't clear few work areas for some calculations. Okay, but usually we clear all the work areas. That's it. Now call your function module. Where you need to call? Here, right? If item is also not in shell, then merge the both tables. Okay, pass header internal table as well as item internal table as inputs and define one internal table for final output.
Final out.
What is the type? I think ZST underscore T underscore final. Okay, pass it here. Both should be same et underscore final type and this lt output type and importing parameters type. Both should be in sync. Both should refer to the same structure or table type. That is mandatory. Okay, all your type conversion errors or runtime errors are due to this type issues. Please keep that in mind. Okay, and I got the data and I'll use end of selection. Now we need to display data in ALV report, right? I'll use ALV grid display. Call the ALV grid display function module here. And since we have a structure, I'm not building the field catalog. I thought of building the field catalog in the current session, but it is already 11:15. For now, use structure only to display. In the next session, we'll build the field catalog. Where is our structure? This one, structure name. What is the structure name? We have a final structure, right? We are
Yes,
using a
sir.
final structure. Pass this in uppercase, not the table type. Don't pass the table type, but the structure in single quotes. This should be in uppercase, otherwise you will get runtime error. T underscore final. I'm removing all this. So here we have a lot of parameters. Depends on the requirement. We use different options. Okay. Tables. For tables output, what we need to pass?
Final internal table.
The final internal table. Sorry, not in the single quotes. The internal table what you are passing here and the structure what it is referring to should be same. Okay, please keep that in mind. Okay, check the syntax. we should execute the next statement only if the previous statement is successfully completed, right? That's why we have used these many if conditions. No syntax errors, pretty printer to format that code, to align the code in a proper manner. Please replace all these messages with the text symbols and message types with constants. Activate the program. Can we execute without entering any input? We have a validation.
No.
Even there is no validation, it won't return any data, because for parameters there should be some value. Otherwise, select statement will fail. Okay? Because parameter always look for exact value. If we enter 1, it will check for value 1 in the table. If we don't enter anything, it will check for blank customer number, right? A record with empty customer number in the table, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me find any customer number with some records in VBAK display. Check the data. I want to select purchase orders only with some customer data. For that, I'll add customer number as input in the table selection. Not equal to blank. I'll select all the records, purchase order records, not equal to empty space, like blank, so that it will show only purchase orders records with some customer value. Where is this sold to party? This one, sold to, right? I'll take this one. Any customer with more records? Okay, I'll take this one as input for my program. Oh, it is still executing. Execute the program. Enter the. Did we discuss transaction codes? Yes, I think, right? Create a transaction code as well for this program. So this is the ALV output, right? Whatever the fields we maintained in the final structure is displaying here. But if you want to customize these fields, order of the fields, or if you want to change headings, right? If you want to add any highlighted color, how can we do that?
Field catalog.
By
By
using
using field catalog. In the next session, we'll see how to use field catalogs. Okay? Usually, it is very common to use field catalog in ALV reports. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.